Welcome. Happy Sunday. You guys are here with me on the American's Voice, August 30th, 2020. Most definitely a beautiful day, and it has been a beautiful week amidst all of the chaos out there. But we had an incredible convention this week, full of color, verb, and also optimism. Exactly what we need in this country right now. Good morning, everyone. I'm Yanni, and you guys are here with me, and we're a place where all views are welcomed, mainly mine. And you guys can also find other episodes, as well as this one here, on SoundCloud as well. And you can drop an email over at americasheartbeat@yahoo.com. That's americasheartbeat@yahoo.com. Find me over at Parler too as well, at America's Heartbeat at Heartbeat1. Over at Parler, that's America's Heartbeat at Heartbeat1. And there you go. Parler is a great platform to use. And so, welcome everyone. Yeah, great week I had. Very busy, in the midst of working on so many other projects outside of talk radio. And it's interesting how you try to put everything together, and every single platform is the best word I can use. Is different. They're completely different. There's nothing that's tied to them at all, with the exception of communication. And been very busy finishing projects, mixing things and stuff, and in midst of working and, just being a busy American, and finding the time to carve out to just chomp at the bit throughout the week. Butterflies sometimes floating in the stomach, trying to fly in formation, but wanting to communicate to you guys, such an exciting thing for me. So welcome to the program, and everyone that's joining on this Sunday, welcome as well. You guys are going to be in for a treat, no doubt about it. You guys are here with the stellar one for sure. But I want to talk about some things today as we get started here. And this program here, it's USA, it's country focused, it's country centric. But at the same time too, I make sure I take my jabs at the media. I make sure the jabs are taken precisely at the right time, for that knockout blow. And just believe there are so many other conservative voices out there that are also keeping the hammer down, pounding hard, educating our American citizens. And despite of what side of the tracks you guys are on, if you're on the conservative track, to where you're guided by the Constitution, you're guarded by the Bill of Rights, you're excited by the prospect and the opportunity of living in this country. Okay, then you have the Republican, and you say, why are you let's not get off on that, why I'm separating them. But you have the Republican. And the Republican, you hate it. They vote party. They want to be fiscally responsible. They want to make sure that, their school choice and, all the bells and whistles. You got the rhinos and stuff mixed inside there. One thing I found curious, when it comes to conservatives, true conservatives, there are no conservatives in name only. You don't see them out there, but you do see rhinos. So just an observation. And then you have the Democrats, and there are real Democrats out there. Like I said, I believe they're extinct, but there gotta be some out there. But for the Democrats that are out there, that are the real ones, that truly love our country, that truly, love the national anthem, and don't want to take a knee under false pretenses, because people are putting up straw men right in front of you. And if you're not reading in between the lines, and not just that, what's in plain black and white, plain print online, and you're allowing yourself to be seduced by headlines, you're an idiot. if you allow yourself to say and sit by passively, like the rest of the Democrats have been doing, and allowing the cities to burn uncontrollably with Black Lives Matter, which I call them BLM, Black Lives No Matter, burning cities up under George Floyd, who's been gone for quite some time now. Hello, get over it. So we have these little powder kegs all over the place, and the Democrats, if you're the real Democrats, raise your hand and say something. That's why I say you're extinct. And if you are extinct in your mind, and you're saying, wait a minute, there might be that little bicker of hope. Come on, guys, come on. You got the strength. Come on, just bing, come on, bing, come on. Get that little strength right there. That little light, that little flame going. Yeah, the little one right there. Yeah, the little flame. Come on, little Timmy, you can do it. All you Democrats that are out there, all two of you in the United States of America, I'm talking to you. Stand up and start shutting this crap down that's dragging you guys, kind of like that movie Drag Me to Hell. That's a cool movie too, by the way. I think I want to watch that. But getting drugged down and to the left by those lefties, you guys know how I feel about them, right? I'm out having an ice cream cone, minding my own business, being a tax-paying, law-abiding citizen. Oh, here we go. There's a regulation. Well, I can't eat the ice cream cone right here? No. Why don't you have a mask on your face? I'm eating an ice cream cone. But all the spectrums of those people that make up America, all the ingredients, I want us to have a moment of gratefulness. That's what I say. But I want to share some thoughts, though, and some perspectives very briefly on this Sunday morning. And the thoughts I want to share are on gratefulness. You know, being that we're the most prosperous nation out of all the countries in the world, I believe we need to have these moments of gratefulness. Just imagine if the fires can just freeze for a second. You know, you get a little button, come out with remote control. You're like, la, 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 la. You're looking around. Wow, that's a big old fire. And the city just burning. Oh, shoot. Are they getting robbed? Wow. Oh, Bertha, look at that. La, 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 la. You know, and you pull out the little clicker and you push the button and everything freezes, like that movie Click with Adam Sandler, right? And you tell everyone, hey, world, let the fires, everything, let's freeze all the, and the only ones that get frozen, right? The looters, the the hijackers, the arsonists. Now, this is a truth or lie type thing here. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to build this out for you real quick. People that, I don't care where they are, if they've experienced or were involved in any type of looting at all, to the minutest form, they'll be frozen too. And we'll have a nice, good, grateful time. It'll be a moment of gratefulness. Enjoying the most incredible economic boom in the 21st century, or in American history for that matter. Things that want to be suppressed by others. But let's stay focused. Of course, we're being grateful, right? But the most incredible boom economically. Then the uninvited, unknown, unwanted at this point in time, you know, this candidate crept into the bloodstream of the American economy. First, speaking a message, drain the swamp, drain the swamp. And this gentleman, this entity that got into the bloodstream, it came in there and it tapped into the mental conscience, breaking up the status quo, not allowing the good old boys to continue to run Washington, D.C. They created bubbles, separation zones, places of safe space from the economic decline and ruin or disaster that was happening all over the rest of the country. D.C. is a place disconnected from Main Street. I know you guys remember those main streets, the little Dairy Queen right there on a Saturday after hard work, cutting grass, making your money, making your allowance, collecting your dough, going down there and getting some nice refreshments. Going to the drive-in. That's America. And people want to change it. If you want to change it, go somewhere else and try that. Try to ruin their experiment of socialism, Marxism, control, total state domination. No constitution to protect them. That's something to really think about. But they're disconnected. And they don't realize, as a child, you were born and embedded and immersed. You were born into a life trapped by a delirious triangle of thug fights, gang disputes, baby mama's drama. This is where you grew up. And I truly know that you realize from 2020 vision, looking back on your life, is this the life you chose for yourself? Probably not. That's the path we're on by the wrong choice. There is a community out here that's breathing and gasping to be liberated, to be free, to be unhinged. Kind of like this radio program, right? From the everyday societal norm saying to yourself, this is how it is. Things will never change. Not having that goal to reach for higher aspirations in life. Creating a complete and total independence from a job, from a boss, from bills, from unforeseen incidents, from tragedy, from living the most extraordinary, remarkable life any person on this planet could live. And I submit to you that we've been put together the way we're designed as an unstoppable force. We've been engineered to do whatever we put our mind to. You can do that. That is something to be grateful about. Wake your inner beast. Allow yourself to people to know that you are a force to be reckoned with. Unmovable. You can't be moved. As an American building or a block of a nation of strong, incredible people out here, a super remarkable, exceptional human being you are. And yes, we've been here to be the saviors of the world. Approaching almost 200 years of blood, yes, problems, yes, tears, yes, war. But let me tell you what, this year at this election, we need to be grateful that we have a president like Donald Trump fighting and that we still have an opportunity to do all those things I just talked about. The conference this past week, I'm grateful because if you bleed red, white, and blue, if you thankful for your paychecks every time the cycle comes around, or the direct deposit, if you're thankful because you got what you need or have what you need on a consistent basis, out of obligation, thank your maker, thank your family. And I say to all the people who come here brand new, welcome to the USA, the world's mega epicenter. We are in a position to make America safe again. And just like that slogan, I'm going to hit you with some more on the other side. You are here with the Sky Captain Extraordinaire, Yanni, and this is our group, The American's Voice. I'll be right back. Yes, we are moving. We are grooving. Welcome back. You guys are here at the American's Voice, and I am Yanni. And we here do the Vulcan mind meld via internet and making that connection, no doubt about it. Glad to have you guys here and on this Sunday morning. We're going to continue to move on and get off into some subjects and things. You know, I've noticed this past week, it's been so much fun just interacting with people wherever you are. There was a young lady that I had met from South Carolina, wonderful young lady, and you just pick up followers, listeners. And so I give a shout out to you. Great conversation too as well. So many conservatives out there that are excited about not just this upcoming election, but they're excited about the future of this country. And we all should be excited about our country. But I look at Trump's acceptance speech. Just want to touch on this real quick here. And guys, let me tell you guys something real quick here. Just to stop all you extreme liberals out there, I don't have pom-poms out for the president. I'm not I'm not a pom-pom doer. I don't do that. That's weak sauce. I don't do that. But I'm going to tell you what, this man's policies are so on point. It's truly worth taking a look at. That's something to think about. Instead of being closed-minded and shutting yourself down, and not allowing new, fresh information like a river to fill your mind, to pour and start to radiate your soul with hope and life, and you stop feeling so thirsty. All you lefties, that sounds the same. Leftist, thirsties. Thirsty, leftist. Ha! But anyways, open your mind. But with his acceptance speech, the human nature is going to gravitate towards what's normal. I look at the contrast of the Democratic convention. And mind you guys, don't be emailing me talking trash about this. Look, I try to walk a fine line, kind of like, what was that guy's name that passed away? I walk the line, that guy, yeah. So I look at both sides. But I won't be bullied or pushed into saying what you think I should say. That's why I have the program. That's why I have the microphone. Now, I'm going to respect your point of view. But if you think my brain is just here for you to open up like a proverbial trash can lid and dump all of your hatred and the stuff you like to spew, you're sadly mistaken. Now we can move on. But they're going to gravitate what's towards normal. When I looked at one, and I've been wanting to talk about this more in depth, I was kind of like thrown back, like, I have to be excited to vote for this? Now, mind you guys, and that's why I say this. Would I ever vote for a Democrat? Absolutely. That's if their policies are right. So that shows you that I'm flexible. But everything that I see right now, pigs will be flying. In fact, there will be pig skins flying with little wings with buffalo hot wing sauce in little pockets dropping in the mouths of Americans that love spicy food. Okay? Not going to happen. Anyways. And then I look at the other side. Look over the other side of it. Look over the other side of the bow there. And I look at the Republican convention this week. And it was so much life. So many messages of hope. If you guys think I'm lying, you lefties, take a look at it. It's right there. And you can see, you heard, you felt the heartbeat of this country. It's hard for me to understand. And it blows my mind how people are ungrateful in the greatest country in the world. It blows my mind how while they're sitting there drinking their latte or their cappuccino or their caramel frap. I want a frap, please, you little spoiled brat. I'll frap you all right. And you're on your $1,000 cell phone with the $200 sneakers on. You're griping, talking about Black Lives Matter. You're griping, talking about the unfairness and inequality. You're talking about something you don't really understand, police shootings, and they're hunting down black men. While you're saying this simultaneously out of your mouth, you got all these things. You have them at your disposal. Brats. Anyways. But I saw a message of hope. Guys, it's unrefutable. You can't refute this. What you saw. I saw it. And then the president knocked it out the park. Vintage Trump. Laying the path. Showing the way. Talking about putting people on Mars. Talking about making sure that we come back strong. Talking about winning the 5G race. Cutting edge. Donald Trump is a cutting edge president. And a little later in the program, I'm going to talk a little bit about the wishy-washy Republicans that we had in the past. And how the jelly beans and also noodles were floating around in their spinal cord, and they did nothing. They got bullied and punked. But anyways, and so you have a choice this November, and it's coming rapidly and fast. You can vote for a party that's just all about investigating. And I want to say that real quick because they want to invest Mike Pompeo because during the convention, he gave a speech from some location. Come on, guys. This country is investigated out. Okay? I call them Investigate Gate. That's what they are. Anyways, just a side note. But you guys see, we've been seeing a trend in this country the last, 5, 6, 7 years. And it's been a trend of the shootings, not just shootings. A week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, I talked about the mindset of Americans 50 years ago. I think I harp on that for this simple reason. It's because when the news was produced and put out, they did the best that they could. Was there biases? Absolutely. Did people sway to the left, to the right? Absolutely. Were there flaming leftists back then? Probably. I think they were the ones that wore the white hoods. Yeah, those are flaming leftists. Anyways, the Bull Connor types, all those guys. But fast forward here, back then, it wasn't about any color, even though they had their race issues back then, segregation and the like. These white pies only. What makes it a white pie? Because a white person made it. What if the white person has a black butler or a black baker? And you still serve it to... Okay, that's a side note. Let me get off that one. Anyways, but 2020. Black man is shot by white police officer. Well, 2 or so weeks ago, the young boy that was riding his bicycle, shot in the head. Gone. Nothing being said. Nothing to see here. Crickets. Channel 0. But I have some questions to ask. And probably this has to be in the mind of American citizens. Is when these altercations begin and they start to boil a little bit, start to bubble in the little cauldron, right there in the cauldron, start the bubbling. I hear an accent when I think about that. But what pops up in my mind, I have a few things that I think about. One, why was he shot? Everything comes down to why. Why? Then we have sycophants like LeBron James, which his basketball skills, I'm not going to take anything from LeBron James. He is a superb specimen. When it comes to the seeds inside his head, between his ears, something's not planted right. And someone needs to get inside there, some mentorship, and uproot those seeds and roots and help him think properly. He should really be focused on trying to win a championship and stay himself out of these social issues, popping in when he feels like. But when people are dying every single weekend in Chicago, people are being shot every single now day in New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Atlanta. Say, pick your city. And all of a sudden he pops out. Well, They've been getting shot for 5-6 years now, bro. 7 years, bro. Where you been? Where have you been? Well, we've reached a boiling point now. So he wants to be the Muhammad Ali of the 21st century. I don't think so. And so, for that note, being a social justice warrior, I jumped off the bandwagon. I've not watched any Laker games. And it breaks my heart because I love seeing that thunderous crash and those dunks and those power facials. Someone locking the opponent up as they play extreme defense. Or blowing by somebody, breaking their ankles in 3 pieces. And they go in for the flush. I love the excitement, the exhilaration of basketball. But one thing I don't hear these athletes say. Why was he shot? 2, how did he get himself in that position? 3, did he resist arrest? 4, did he have a weapon? 5, did he have a record? These are things we don't know about. So we're like big, giant, king-size goldfish looking at a goldfish bowl inside of the sea. And the microscope is on the 2 police fish. They're both white fish. Okay, they're both white fish. And then there's the black fish. And there's 2 little black fish kids in the car. And there's a big, giant spotlight right there on the bowl. We see everything. And so we don't know what the conversation is. We don't know how the altercation started. We don't know about the record. We don't know if he resisted arrest. We're catching the tail end as it's starting to begin to the shots are rung out. Now, I feel bad about this gentleman being paralyzed. Let me make that clear. I don't think no one should be shot and paralyzed. You know, you talk to my wife, man, she she has fits about that one. Let's just one shot. Anyways, that's another story. She's a beast. Awesome. But I love her. And was he on probation or anything like that? These are questions you have to have. Does he have any mental issues? Is he under the influence? Let me tell you guys something. Cops have families too. You know, there was a slogan they used to use back in the day, and they say fat people need love too. Well, cops have families too. If they want to go home to their families, I want them to go home to their families. Lastly, does he have a history of violence or criminal activity or abuse or drug use or drug abuse? All these things must be taken into account before a decision is made, before an arrest to judgment is executed. I want to cut into some high-profile shootings and just bounce some ideas around a little bit. And want to help wrap our mind for the white people trying to understand how us black people think. Because a lot of times, a lot of us black people, we play this race card and we play the dummy role. You know, like the little Rolos, the candies, you know. But we play the dummy, there's little dummies inside there. We need to stop that. But on the other side, we're going to start to get a little bit deeper, as we always do, as we come back on The American's Voice. I am your butler making pies. Be right back.
Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Welcome to your life. There's no turning ba There's no turning back.
Hey, thank you for hanging out and staying right there, planted in your seat here on the American's Voice on this fine Sunday where all the things happen in the country can happen if you believe. But continuing on the situational or isolated cases of people being, I guess, abused by our law enforcement or men in blue or men in brown. Pick your color uniform. They're all over the country. But the morale drop has never been this bad, ever. The retirements, the request to walk away has never been this bad. And for the first time, police organization after police organization after police organization, they are starting to put their word out and say that they are endorsing President Donald Trump. Guys, look here. I don't want you guys getting upset here. I want you guys to understand this is how the ball bounces. This is how the cookie bakes. This is how the Kool-Aid is made for all of you guys still living in the ghetto by choice. But this is how the cake is baked. And if your policies are strong, you will attract the following. If your policies are weak, you will attract little, weak, mealy-mouth trolls that want to have government and Big Brother consume their life from cradle to grave. But going back to, I call them high-profile shootings for this reason, because they're isolated and they're pointed out by the American media. Michael Brown, the whole hands up, don't shoot. And I'm going to touch on these little bullet points real briefly here. And I'm going to give you my perspective. Because the hands up, don't shoot narrative, it was just absolutely false. Something to put on a t-shirt. And mind you, every one of these people's lives that were lost, it's sad. It's grave. I would hope and I wish they were all still here living and enjoying their life. But they're not. And a lot of times it's due to their error. I've had run-ins with the police in the past as I was younger. And some things got kind of hot, but most of them didn't. So let's be honest. Let's get off that bandwagon. But Michael Brown, the hands up, don't shoot. Everyone rushed to judgment. It turned out to be false. George Floyd. There was, I would say, exculpatory evidence that was missing if we're talking about playing tapes. The evidence that the world saw. And to be honest with you, I've never seen the video. I've never watched the video. I'm just funny like that. Something has to catch me by surprise. Like, oh, shoot. But me going in there and just trying to look for it, no. But then there was, later on, after half or a quarter of America burned to pieces, they burned everything. Empire State Buildings, that building, this building, TPs. It was burning everything. Pockets of resistance. You guys remember back in 2015, if Trump wins, there'll be a resistance. 2016, resistance. 2017, resist. But after that happened, here comes the other half of the tape, which clearly shows him under the influence, greatly under the influence, uttering with the words of his, look, I don't believe he should have died. Okay, so hear me out, guys. But his words, his own words, right here. He's telling the officers repeatedly a couple times, I can't breathe. We discovered and find out that fentanyl is in his system. He has methamphetamines on his person. And he's resisting, in a sense, arrest. He's not cooperating with the police officers. Now, my brush-ins with the cops, I noticed, and this was just a side observation, ladies and gentlemen. I noticed when I complied, everything got better. When I wrestled and kicked and fought and all those other things, well, it's like when this thing goes wrong. And so you have that. But everyone rushing to judgment. And so we all agree the cops are being punished for what they did. But that other half of the tape is now kind of changing the landscape. Breonna Taylor, which everyone is bickering about, that's just an unfortunate situation. But I don't think at all it has anything to do with police brutality. I don't think at all it has anything to do with them singling out black people. If you read the report, there were certain targets, things they saw, packages being moved from certain areas and addresses. They just did their homework. Do mistakes happen? Absolutely, and that's a tragedy. And so, but people are using that, especially those in the media, sports media. They're using that. And whatever justice is going to happen, I pray it happens the right way. But Rayshard Brooks, same thing, resisting, fighting with the cops, pulling out tasers, trying to taser cops. I mean, come on. What do you have to do as a law enforcement? Are you punching bags out there? This is case after case after case. I want to talk because I know this is what the American people's voice is on this matter for the most part. They're looking, and the media shows you a certain piece, but then the rest comes out later. After all the damage has been done, they release Hulk from his chains made out of some type of metal that he's weakened to, and they let him go, and he smashes and burns a quarter of the country. Then the rest of the information comes out. Jacob Blake. Here we go. It's almost like you're waiting for the sixth man, right? No, this is real situations, ladies and gentlemen. And it happens not every single day. But the deceivers out there would have you believe that we are being bombarded and cops are raining bullets and blows on blacks walking down the street every single day. That's just not true. Jacob Blake. Let's talk about him for a second. Over at the Daily Wire, there's an article there. And as you look at the article here, there's in red paint, Jacob Blake says the Wisconsin Department of Justice, Division of Criminal Investigation, the DCI reported late Wednesday that Jacob Blake, the man who was shot by a police officer in Kenosha on Sunday, had a weapon on the floorboard of his car. Kenosha Police Department officers were dispatched to a residence in the 2800 block of the 40th Street after a female caller reported that her boyfriend was present and was not supposed to be on the premises, the department said. During the incident, officers attempted to arrest Jacob S. Blake, age 29. Law enforcement deployed a taser to attempt to stop Mr. Blake. However, the taser was not successful in stopping Mr. Blake. So he's going ballistic. He's not cooperating. And this behavior, you can't do this. It goes on to say, though, Mr. Blake walked around his vehicle, opened his door of his car, and leaned forward while holding on to Mr. Blake's shirt. Officer Rustin Seski fired his service weapon 7 times. The department continued. The department said that the officer immediately rendered his aid to Blake during the investigation, which they're supposed to do. Following the initial incident, Mr. Blake admitted that he had a knife in his possession. The department added the DCI agents recovered a knife from the driver's side of the floorboard of Mr. Blake's vehicle, and a search of the vehicle located no additional weapons. My question, was it worth it, Mr. Blake? I thank God that you are alive, but was it worth it? I pray that you walk again one day, but was it worth it? We have to take a chill pill. The racial climate that's being set with the aid of the Democrat Party, which has been taken over. They have a Democrat hood on, but they're flaming leftists. They're painting this narrative that if you walk down the street, and I'll talk about this a little bit because I'm going to talk about Miss Brazil, Donna Brazil, in just a minute here. And cops aren't just looking for black people to shoot. Well, who are the black cops? Let me ask you a question. Who are the black cops looking to shoot then? If they're looking to shoot black men, are they looking to shoot extra black men? People that look kind of like the cup, no offense to Mr. Seal, but blacker or darker than Seal? And they're walking down the street singing Kiss of a Rose? Swearing up and down this is like 1990 or so? And the Batman movie is hot and in style? I don't think so. I used to like that song too, Kiss of a Rose. But anyways, they're not looking for any blacks or African Americans or Negroes to shoot. Kamala Harris was on the Today program, and she's being interviewed, and the guy was asking her about the shooting of Mr. Blake. And the whole circus arena full of roller coasters and rides, twisting and turning and contradictions, happened in less than 1 minute. Cut one, please.
Is there a scenario in which that officer would have been was justified in firing his weapon?
Craig, I don't see it, but I don't have all the evidence. You know, the man was going to his car. He didn't appear to be armed. And if he was not armed, the use of force that was 7 bullets coming out of a gun at close range in the back of the man, I don't see how anybody could reason that was justifiable.
Do you think the officer should be charged?
I think that there should be a thorough investigation, and based on what I've seen, it seems that the officer should be charged.
There's an investigation. This is what you call trying to have your cake and eat it too, or eating your cake and having it at the same time. Choose your style. Either you're going to have an investigation, or from what you see, he needs to be charged. It doesn't work like that. There needs to be a thorough investigation, Miss Prosecutor. Just blows my mind, the things that these people do and the way they twist and contort words to make sure they stay electable. Fumbles. So don't buy the hype that's being peddled by the mainstream media, propping us up to be sold to other countries due to the interior breakdown. They're able to penetrate the whole of the ship. That ship is the USA. It mechanically serves a greater agenda. That agenda is to implode from within and end our country as we know it. Believe me, this defund the police movement and all the others, it is a problem. And even though these things are tragic, these are elements and parts which make our country unique. So hold on to your chairs, because we're going to skillfully go deeper right here on The American's Voice. See you in 2.
Whenever dark is falling, you know the spirit of the party starts to come alive until the day is dawning. You can throw out all the blues and hit the city lights, 'cause there's music in the air and lots of loving everywhere. So give me the night. Give me the night. Dine, a glass of wine, a little late romance. It's a chain reaction. You'll see the people of the world coming out to dance, 'cause there's music in the air and lots of loving everywhere. So give me
Drive west on Sunset to the sea. Turn that jungle music down, just until we're out of town. This is no one night stand, it's a real occasion. Close your eyes and you'll be there. It's everything they say. The end of a perfect day. Distant lights from across the bay. Babylon sister, shake it. Babylon sister, shake it. So fine, so young,
Welcome back. You guys are here at the epicenter of truth, and I am your virtual coach here on the American's Voice. And want to continue on and kind of switch gears here a little bit. You guys have been glued in the seats, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the program so far today. My aim is to get behind this microphone and give all that I have. Blood, sweat, truly sweat. I be sweating like a big dog around here. But laboring over the content, laboring over the delivery, laboring over what's being offered to the public, and two visions of two Americas. And I'm going to tell you what, there's going to be a choice for so many of us on which direction this country goes. This here truly, it's the biggest election in my lifetime. And I'm sure it's the biggest election in most people's lifetime. But Black Lives Matter, here they go again. They're back into the mix. And people don't understand that if there are movements, these movements shouldn't be to incite more violence. These movements should be here to help make things better, to have the meeting of the minds, and everyone come to a neutral zone, a neutral place. You know, kind of like those Star Trek movies and all. I want you to report to the neutral zone. And it's like, if you're green, you got little horns and stuff come out of your head. Why are you talking with a French accent? English accent. Anyways. But a neutral place for all you lefties. A nice, safe space. Give them that latte, too. The dome drink YouTube generation. But it's supposed to be to create a vibrant, a thriving environment, a culture to where we can get along with each other and move forward. But over at Breitbart, I caught an article a few days ago, and it says Black Lives Matters protest harass DC diners at a Mexican restaurant, demand they raise their fist. This is the most natural form of bullying. It is disgraceful, and as you look and see here, there's ladies in the backdrop. There's an Asian lady looking. She looks Asian to me. And there's another lady with her back. She's like turned over her shoulder. And you can't see the guy sitting directly behind the lady that's screaming and shouting at the couple sitting here. But this is not normal. And those who are representing Black Lives Matter, the leaders of this so-called fake, false, phony group, should speak out about this crap. But no, they want a quarter of the country to burn. It says Black Lives Matter protester in Washington, D.C. on Monday harassed diners seated on the patio of a Mexican restaurant and allegedly demanded they raise their fist. What is this, 1960s? According to the videos posted on social media, it says here that the protesters can be heard screaming at the couple, and it says, this is why you don't want to do it? Someone asked. Two other diners are seen with their fists raised. Cowbells and shouting can also be heard, and the crowd heckled the couple. One protester yelled white supremacy at the couple. Let me tell you something. This right here, this groupthink crap, this mob rule crap, if you think you are safe where you are, you would truly better wake up and smell the coffee, because it's coming to a neighborhood near you if you will now allow Joe Biden to be elected. This is not hate speech. This is fact. And it is a shame because, and the reason why I'm going to call the Biden-Harris campaign on this here is this. And I would call a Republican as well if they had this problem. Only until they begin to slip in the polls is then they started talking about the rioting. They started talking about the looting. They started talking about burning stuff up, the arsonists, the people causing tragedy in some people's lives out there. Even Don, you purchased a lemon, or D-lemon, like they say on CNN. He even woke up out of his slumber. Okay? And so, just a little clip of this. I want you to hear the commotion and just imagine yourself. Put yourself here. You're sitting here with your date and you guys are going out for the first time. You guys have never had lunch out before, but this is your first date and you're looking to impress the young lady. Nice hot day, you guys have on your shorts, probably gonna go and grab some smoothies or something afterwards or whatever, go walk on the beach. Make your day. Then all of a sudden, here comes Negative Nelly with her broke down, broken, unrecognizable, unsalvageable message of Black Lives Matter. You better raise your fist or be put into submission. Cut number 2, please. Let's go.
Put your mask on now, huh? Motherfucker. Piece of shit.
Straight confusion. And people are looking like, what? The guy, I saw the picture earlier, but as I watched the video, you have this numbknuckles, reminding me of the Dumb and Dumber movie, or the whole series, which 2 of the biggest dipsticks that have ever been created are in that movie. He's sitting there. If you go and you look on Breitbart, and he has his left hand lifted with the fist, and he has this boring look on his face like he's watching a program his wife Ethel is forcing him to make that they watch every week on Wednesdays at 8:30. Something like Murder, She Wrote, right? And he like, oh, come on, with his fist raised. Followers. And not too far. In the neighborhood that's next to the neighborhood down there by Alice in Wonderland, you know, where the Cheshire Cat is smiling and all that stuff like that. We're in frickin' Bizarro World. You have these useful idiots out here where there are black people speckled like pieces of pepper in a big giant bowl of salt. Oh, you see him right there? Yeah, you got to swivel around a little bit. Oh, there he is. Not that many black people in sight. And this is a joke. This is what these useful idiots were chanting out there. Cut number 3, please.
Jacob Blake! Jacob Blake! Jacob Blake! Jacob Blake! Jacob Blake!
I need a job. I need a life. I'm broke as hell. That's why I'm out here protesting. That's what these lemmings should be saying. Like zombies, contorting and twisting themselves, raising fists in the air, have never really experienced any oppression truly like they did in the 60s. I have neighbors that lived in that time, in that era, and they understand this is nothing like that. Idiots being used as tools and pawns. And so they're out there. There they are too, right around the corner, out there causing problems. Is this the America that you want to live in? And they're screaming, say his name. Let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you a question here. I want to ask you, have you guys said the name of the Chicago people that have been killed? Like Doran Wallace, a black man, 39 years old. How about Anthony Clancy, a 26-year-old male? Martin Coleman, 27-year-old black male. Ronald Boyd, 26-year-old black man. Antonio Rose, 33-year-old black man. Devon Nelson, 31-year-old black man. I can go on and on. This is just a fraction of the names of the killings in Chicago. And yet there's crickets. And we have all these idiots acting with their condescending attitudes like America owes them something. I remember back in the day when they used to ask the question, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. What happened, ladies and gentlemen? How did we become hung on the tit of the government? So that's the harassment, huh? That's what we're doing. It's unfortunate. Another article. They torch a Danish Brotherhood Lodge in Kenosha. Rioters in Kenosha, Wisconsin torched a Danish Brotherhood Lodge in a night of violence, a day after police shot a black man, Jacob Blake, 29, triggering a new round of Black Lives Matter protests nationwide. As I look at these rioters, these arsonists, these aren't protesters. And next week, I'm going to talk about that hijacking of the word protest. These rioters here, they're so organized now. This is not a grassroots movement. The t-shirts with the fist, the emblems, everything is just too perfect. You know, I feel like Columbo right now. This is just too perfect. I'm about to walk out the door, right? I got one more question. I got more questions for all the unpatriotic left out there. You know, I started a subscriber of the week, a comment of the week here. And, where I read off the comments of the subscribers, listeners, that they send the email. And I had one that kind of stood out to me this past week when we were talking about Channel Zero last week's episode. And he said this. He said, yes, sir, you are totally getting deep with Channel Zero. Do I feel like it sometimes when I talk to left-leaning people? Your words sound like gibberish to them? Well, it does, because it does. And he says, if you are conservative and you listen to left-leaning people, Democrats, they say it sounds like gibberish to them, whether if they listen to rich conservatives. And he said, I went to a friend's house today and they had CNN on their TV playing. He said, and it's crazy, as I listened and tuned in and I attempted to gather my focus, it sounded just like gibberish to me. It didn't make sense. And he said, imagine that. And I thought that was really funny. Democrats can't hear conservatives. It sounds like gibberish to them. And conservatives can't hear Democrats. It sounds like gibberish to them. What if that was a true science? But we know who's the smarter of the two. I guess we have that idea. But anyways, I want to talk about Donald Brazil a little bit. We had a big blow up this past week over at Fox and Friends with Brian Kilmeade, and he was booby trapped, so to speak. And the history is it? I want to ask the question: history, is it valid only when you want to use it, or should history stand as a pillar and not just a beacon, but a post of sense, a go-to place? We need to make sure that when we use history, we use it accordingly and make sure that we're accurate. When I come back in the lightning round, I want to touch a few topics real quick. I want to talk about mayors seeking truth, our COVID pandemic, the obvious awakening, and other things when we come back. Welcome back, everyone, to the American's Voice. Glad to have you guys here on this Sunday where we're rocking, absolutely rocking, and telling the truth at the same time. I'm glad to have you guys back here. I want to continue into the lightning round, and I know we've been having some quarrels a little bit with the President of the United States and also these mayors. But I submit to you, hat tip to Breitbart. Minnesota Democrat mayors endorsed Donald Trump. Biden did nothing for the working class. Duluth, Minnesota, 6 Democratic Minnesota mayors endorsed President Donald Trump over former Vice President Joe Biden on Friday, asserting that Trump has improved the lives of Minnesotans, while Biden has moved too far to the left. These guys just don't see the handwriting on the wall. It goes on to say, at a campaign rally in Trump's re-election Minnesota, Iron Range mayors, Virginia Mayor Larry Cuff, Chisholm Mayor John Champa, Ely Mayor Chuck Novak, Two Harbors Mayor Chris Swanson, and Eveleth Mayor Robert Vlasovich, and Babbitt Mayor Andrea Zupanich endorsed Trump and Vice President Mike Pence for a second term in office. The Democrat mayors charged in Minnesota had remained a Democrat stronghold for decades. However, they noticed that Biden had done nothing for the working class as jobs left the Iron Range. The Minnesota Democrat mayors wrote, like many others in our region, we voted for Democrats over many decades. We have watched our constituents' jobs left, not only the Iron Range, but our country, by putting tariffs on our products and supporting bad trade deals. Politicians like Joe Biden did nothing to help the working class. And it goes on. Go over and check that article out in Breitbart. It's very eye-opening. And I say that to say this, because the defiance that we've been seeing, it's like that Scooby-Doo moment, like, there's trouble on the horizon. You look at Minnesota, which Trump didn't win last time. You know, he's looking to go for the knockout. And as I look at the numbers here, in Minnesota, Trafalgar Group, right here on, I was just at a little website here looking at election polls, and, you know, you can't really depend on those. But the Trafalgar Group has Biden, 47, Trump, 47, and there's 6% other, which is going to be that breaking point there. Are those the unfamiliar voices, the unheard voices, the quiet voices there? As of the 8th, Trump, 47%, Biden, 50%. I mean, guys, he was 10 plus a month and a half or so ago. Trump is going in for the kill. And these polls are starting to shift in his favor. And that camp on the other side, they're getting nervous. So that's something to think about. But the COVID, is the effect of COVID wearing down on everyone? Have you guys thought about that lately? I know I remember, this year that when we were hit with a devastating virus that just came out of the back door, and it took the Americas by storm, the rest of the world by storm. It's kind of like an old Vietnam movie, or in the 30s or 40s. You get wind of what's going on. It takes a while for the population to catch on. The first person to enter into the United States in January 2020 identified having the coronavirus. You guys remember that, right? I believe most of us see the world as particular, in particular the United States of America, through a lens of it's a big engine. And it takes time for not to start, but this engine to move, this massive leviathan of an economy. America is very unique. So many gears, so many moving parts, so many declarations, constitutions, Bill of Rights, laws, and they're all up and subject to different interpretations. In a nation of over 300 million people, how do we cope with, first, everything got out of control and everything was in hyper mode. Fear set in. Equality speak started erupting. Shelves in the stores we patronize, we've seen for decades as youths. Shelves just emptying. Mass hysteria and the paper-pushing media paralyze the world. The fear of the unknown is the greatest killer of any people. You better sanitize right there. Use it on every transaction. You couldn't even move without grabbing a bottle, applying some. Next, here comes the mask. First, don't wear a mask. Then you wear a mask. It's important and imperative for you to wear a mask, they tell you. They tell us. They tell me. Wait a minute. We've now shut down the whole economy? The engine that helps fuel the world, feed other countries, we shut it down? And we see in hindsight, 2020, right? 2020 vision, the result of what some might say, everything just lock it down, that window, if we got it under control. Well, the facts just don't support that if we locked everything down, if everyone just stopped and froze. But as I look across the nation and I see governors and mayors still attempting to lock down their neighborhoods and cities and counties, as if the pandemic was at its height, as a hotbed, it is absolutely ridiculous. And the American people are pushing back. But, I don't see all the sanitizer as I used to. I don't see all the people frequently washing their hands. People definitely aren't practicing social distancing. The shelves are no longer empty. There's food to the fullest. And that being said, people are getting back to normal, behaving normal, responding normal. This is a message to the United States and to the world. People desire, they seek after, they crave, they want freedom. Freedom can never be controlled for too long. They will always break the mental chains, the social bondages, the generational stigmas, and that attempt to attach themselves to every person under the sun that's been born in this world. So my question to you, proud U.S. citizens, my question to you is this. Looking back, do you look at everything that I just said and the way I said it? All that we've done in the last 5, 6, 7 months, what was it all for? What was it all for? I'll be right back, and we're going to close it up. The American's Voice, and I'm Yanni. Hey there, everyone. Thanks for staying glued to your seats and hanging out with your host, the extraordinaire, Yanni. Just want to continue to carve some subjects and topics that I had. So much stuff here. Can't get to everything every single week. It just makes you irritated here. But, I wanted to, if you guys notice one thing about the Republican Party, you guys see and know things about the Democratic Party and what's happened. That party's been stolen from the nice, decent American Democrats that used to exist. All two of you in the United States of America. But one thing that's flying under the radar is the transformation of the Republican Party. I watched the National Republican Convention last week, and I saw a completely different Republican Party that I've seen before. They're poised, polished, they're focused, and it definitely had a message. They brought hope, sounded sober. The context was clear. You guys know what I mean? They laid the foundation for even the most basic of learners. That grassroots message, that song that everyone's on the same sheet of music with. Your backbone is so big you can actually see it protruding through your front of your chest. You didn't see this with Romney. You didn't see this with McCain. Rest in peace, McCain. Or Bush. What you would see right before your eyes, and what you're seeing, is a rediscovered, renewed, almost restructured Republican Party. And it's all organic. Just the top. Look at the leader. Look at the leadership of Donald J. Trump. Though being bashed in the media, it's just the facts, guys, okay? I wish I could say something different. But hell no. These are the facts. This is the truth. All they have left are radical ideas. dreams that will drown you with socialist ties and Marxist roots. These people are crazy. But think about the Republican Party in 2004, what the platform was. We're still in the midst of war. The country is kind of quasi-united. Then you look at 2008. What was that platform with McCain? It's so dull. You can remember what Obama's was because he won. Okay? McCain, you don't even remember what his platform was. How about 2012? Do you remember Romney's platform? No, because they were weak. 2016, the people spoke. The platform was taking the fight to the swamp. You guys remember Drain the Swamp, right? The swamp got real nervous. In the process, Trump began to model what it looked like to fight back. Talk trash. Be an American. He's the everyday American billionaire. A few Republicans stepped forward, but for the most part, Trump has gone alone until just recently. And so the platform is now 2020, the true Republican Party. The colors are red, white, and blue flowing through the veins, pumping hard, showing those who are rising to the top. You guys see the rising stars of the Republican Party. They're young, they're vibrant, they're excited. And they were displayed this past week. And then you look at Mitt Romney, John McCain, if he was alive, George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, John Boehner, Paul Ryan. What a wreck. They're rhinos without a home now. And the Republican Party looks nothing like them at all. That's why Romney's hanging on to a thread in the United States Senate. He is a hollow voice in the Senate. And if he had a chance at the president, he struck out and lost big. So, Joe Biden's vision is way different than what you want in your country. So, I'm going to start to shut it down and to wrap it up. And that's all I have for this week. We're going to continue to push things and talk about the obvious awakening on next week. You guys have been here. I know you've enjoyed your journey. It is not the Twilight Zone. It is the American's voice. And you guys are a part of the family. And I will see you guys next week. Be blessed. Stay safe. I'm out.